Alright, so today are going to be making breakfast, and I'm going to be showing you guys some of the stuff that we're doing. Today's breakfast is going to feature some lumberjack sausage, which I picked up from Walmart for about $2.98 per box. Start with one red onion. Chop that up. The same with some green onions, or Jamaicans would call them scallion, green peppers, and some Roma tomatoes. I usually let the kids help when I'm cooking. Hello. Say hi, guys.
Hello. Hi.
Right? But I'm doing the chopping right now, so they're not going to be doing a whole lot of that. The littlest one right now is on the couch, a little bit sleepy. So we have a rough chop on those tomatoes, peppers, and green onions. Not exactly a food page, but I do cook fairly often, every couple of days. So I'm going to try and get a few of these videos up every now and then, just to have a little variety aside from the quotes and stuff and the education stuff that you guys see. So you guys see that I am not an automaton. Next up, we have our sausage, which comes in this little neat pack. You guys can also use the one by Hillshire Farm if you want to use that, or if you want to use fresh sausage because you're not really a big fan of preservatives, you guys can do that as well. And cut those up. And the good thing about these is these are already pretty much cooked, so we're not going to have to spend a whole lot of time cooking. So this is a great one if you even want to do this for a weeknight meal. That'll be something that we work good too. And lastly, we're going to add in 2 heads of broccoli and about 1/3 of a head of cabbage, because I like to sneak vegetables into my kids' food. The great thing about this meal is the whole thing's going to run you less than $20, which is awesome, especially if you're on EBT like I am right now, where you have government assistance helping you provide the extra while you work your way to the top. So just breaking up some of the broccoli now to use, and that should be good. We got our vegetables chopped up and everything. So before we get to cooking these, because this is only going to take about 15 minutes to cook, I'm going to go ahead and get started on our biscuits. Well, my biscuit process is actually pretty straightforward. I use white lily self-rising flour, which might be harder to find in some areas like the northeast coast or anything like that. If you don't have that, you can use all-purpose flour and a couple tablespoons of leavener, like baking powder and stuff like that. So I usually use the white lily flour, some butter, and some buttermilk, and that's pretty much what makes it up. I use salted butter, so I don't add any salt or anything to it. We have about 2 cups of flour measured out, along with about 3/4 cup of butter. I saved behind some of my butter because I'm going to melt that over the top for later. And I'm going to have Elijah come on and help me from. Say hey, Elijah.
Hello.
All right, go ahead, pour the flour into the bowl for me. Awesome. Go ahead and dump that in the sink. Good job. That way we stay clean while we're working. And go ahead, add the butter. Awesome sauce. And what I want you to do is go ahead and start. You got them all out?
Yeah, got it all.
Good. We're going to start mashing some of the pieces up, because what you want it to look like is a really mealy texture. So that's what we're going to do right now. That's roughly what you want it to look like. If you can actually freeze your butter overnight and grater it like with a food processor attachment, that's actually the best way to get it really well distributed throughout. I don't have a food processor, so I'm going old school and doing it by hand. Okay? So we're going to make a well in the center and add some of the buttermilk now. Usually about 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup. I'm terrible at measuring this part. I will be 100% honest with you, and that is just because this is how I learned to do it. And you don't want to over mix this, because then you're going to end up with tough biscuits. So you just want it to come together. So it should look a little something like that right before you get it onto the table. So we're going to turn our dough out onto our cutting board. Elijah, you can see it start forming our biscuits. Now normally people use rolling pins to do this part, and I would too, but as you can see, there's a lot of flour on here because I'm trying to keep it from sticking to the thing while I pretty much flip it and get it over. So I'm using my hand only because it's a little bit easier. Not yet, Yasmin. Alright, so after we have gone and flipped it out, usually I fold it about maybe 1 to 2 times, so that way it doesn't get too tough. You're gonna help me cut it.
This one.
Press down. Ready? So we're just using an old
And we're having a new kitchen helper.
Cooking set thing that doesn't have anything anymore because I don't have any cookie cutters. And we're just going to put them onto the tray like that.
Kitchen helper Yasmin.
Kitchen helper Yasmin. And we're just going to cut a couple of these and basically line the tray. So when you're done with the first set that we've cut out, you just basically ball it up and then cut it, roll it out and cut again.
My sister just put in some tiny biscuits. Tiny biscuit alert!
So we're actually going to transfer these to a cast iron skillet because I don't have enough space on the tray that I picked originally. So I got my oven preheated to about 400 degrees. I'm going to add my little makeshift biscuits into there. So inside of our cast iron pot for our sausage, we're going to put a little bit of oil onto the bottom just so that the food doesn't stick. We're going to add our onions now that our oil is hot. Go ahead, add your onions. Go ahead, add your onions. I say Yasmin. Go ahead. Ready? Good job. Don't jump though. Don't jump. We're going to cook the onions until they're translucent.
And you can see through them.
Very good. What are they going to look like?
They'll look brown, and if you pick one up and have a look at it, then you'll be able to see something that the onion is blocking.
Cool. Elijah is going to go ahead and add the sausage for us. Cool. Right? And then we're just going to stir that and cook. Right?
And add the seasonings.
And add the seasonings, right. That's coming up in just a second. Grabbing seasonings right now. We're grabbing black pepper, garlic powder, and put that down. Go ahead, put it down. Let me take that. Let me get that from you. All right, and let me get the salt. Pass the Himalayan salt. All right, cool. Pink salt. And that's pretty much going to be it. You see the thyme up there? Thyme, small container. You see it? Time. This is why you should keep your cabinets organized. Next up, we're gonna add our vegetables into the pot and just kind of stir those around and let those cook. All right, Yasmin, you got those? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is what we're feeling.
So that is also looking pretty good to start. All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna start adding our seasonings. Yasmin, go ahead and put in the thyme. Yeah, go ahead. Put it in. Good job. Add some of the garlic powder. We're going to move that out the way. Some garlic. Go ahead. And then a little bit of black pepper. Very good. And we're going to add a little bit more, but not too much. And we're going to add our salt last. And we're going to add a little bit of water to this so that way we can get a little sauce going. Not too much. That should help our vegetables cook down. And we add salt last more so because salt concentrates as you cook with it, contrary to popular belief. I know black people are supposed to cook with a whole bunch of seasonings, and we do still. It's just that we want to make sure that we preserve some of that salt for later, especially since we're using that smoked sausage. All right, so I have them upstairs cleaning up while I add a little bit of this Worcestershire sauce to it. Say that 4 times fast so we can get that going. Now that it's cooked down a little bit more, we can add just a couple sprinkles of salt, nothing too heavy. I'm using Himalayan sea salt because it doesn't have any additives and stuff like that, and we already have the additives from the sausage, so we're trying to minimize some of that as well too. And that's going to cook down, and we're just waiting on our biscuits to cook, and then we should be good to go. So while we wait on that, we're going to pop our butter into the microwave for about 30 seconds. It's been about almost 10 minutes since our biscuits have been in the oven, so we want to make sure that our butter is ready for them when the time comes. So as a quick bonus, I wanted to show you guys how I make my ginger tea, especially with it being coronavirus season. So I did some ginger with a few, I don't know if you can see those tabs at the bottom, those right there are vitamin D tablets. So you want to add that in because vitamin D is supposed to be really good for helping prevent against the coronavirus. So we're going to take our ginger and our vitamin D, and then we are going to blend it. I used the root about this size when I blended. I'm sorry I didn't give you guys a better visual of what I did. But I'm going to just take that now and then pour that into a big pot And then I'm going to let that simmer on the fire for a little bit, add some lemon juice and a little bit of sugar to sweeten it, and that will be the kids' little treat. Our biscuits are done, so we're going to go ahead and spoon some of that melted butter onto them on the top. And you see they got down to that nice golden brown color that we wanted. And we're just going to go ahead and finish spooning over this butter on the top. And we actually have plenty of butter left over, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the fridge. And that is pretty much brunch. We got our biscuits, we have our sausage with vegetables, and we got our ginger tea sitting on in the back. And that's it. Now for the fun part. I'm going to put a nice big serving of vegetables for myself because I am doing a lot of portion control right now. So definitely focusing heavily on the veggies. And of course, ta-da, the biscuit. Just take a look at how fluffy that thing is. Oh, I can't wait to eat that. That's it. So I'm about to enjoy my food.
See you. Yeah.
See you guys next time. Did the biscuit meet the Southern standards?
Yes, it did.
That's why I love him.
Make it to a billie, I'ma slide you. Take it just wherever, we ain't never coming back. Pushing down